Look, I will be talking about contracts today, and I will explain some basics of contracts, of contract law, like really basics, how to not get yourself into contract by accident, and how it works, just for you to understand the most important, like very basic fundamental concepts. This video is not going to be entertaining. I'm not going to draw pictures, diagrams, or whatever they do on YouTube, these huge YouTubers. I'm not going to do it. So if you came here for entertainment, leave now, because this will not be entertaining, I promise you. It will not be entertaining at all. We're talking about law, about contracts. Law is boring. Legal stuff is actually boring. That's what law is about. It's not what you see on TV. And contracts is probably one of the most boring topics because it's very technical, right? So let's dive in right now. First of all, in terms of contract, and this video is unprepared. I'm just spilling the beans from my memory. So what contract is basically agreement between two people. When two people agree on something, two people, two entities, two businesses, whatever, agreement between people. That's why there is such thing, a concept like meeting of the minds, meaning there should be meeting of the minds or between two people who are agreeing on things, which means that first of all they have to see the topic of discussion, right? Topic of agreement, a subject of agreement. They have to see both in the same light. They basically have to be on the same page. If we're talking in slang, both parties trying to agree must be on the same page about things. Okay, they should understand the same topic. This is the topic. This is what we are talking about. This is the money. If they are not on the same page, if they understand things drastically differently, like what they're talking about, what they're agreeing about, what the terms of the agreement, if they have no meeting of the minds, right? If their minds are not on the same page, this contract could be declared illegal, unlawful, and thrown out in the court, because basically one person is making a mistake, for example. But I'm going to move a little bit further, all right? The just basic daily situation, which actually happens sometimes. For example, say you are a student, right? It doesn't matter, you could be student, not student. You live in, say, apartment building somewhere in the beautiful countryside. You're going to college. Or it could be a dormitory, okay? You're part of the fraternity or whatever they have there. And say landlord, okay, you're outside, you're like sports person, you're strong, and you're talking to your landlord outside, or to other guys, or to your uncle, doesn't matter who it is. Could be relative, doesn't matter who, anyone, even to your father, to your mother. But it has to be a person capable of understanding what you're talking about, capable of agreement. So if you're talking to your dog, you cannot make an agreement with your dog, most cases. And with your cat, court is not going to buy it, because agreement has to be reasonable, right? It's not reasonable to expect that cat will understand the agreement. So it has to be a person. And say you're such sports person, you say how strong you are, this and that, and you say you love gardening, like you back at home you did gardening, blah blah blah, and your landlord drinking a beer, like listen to this stuff, calculating the benefit they can get from you, he can get from you. He says, hey dude, listen, I really like your story. You know what, I actually need something done in the backyard. Or I just was I get this wild idea. Listen, I need this trench to be dug. Somebody to dig this trench, right? Trench, to dig it, to take a shovel and dig it from that tree to that tree, because I will need to put pipes there for sprinkles, right? I need to do that, and the guy who is supposed to do it today, he cannot come in. Blah blah. The technician is busy, whatever. Handyman is busy, whatever. Listen, dude, person is drinking beer, like, listen, if you do it, I'll pay you $100. And you both laugh at it, ha ha ha, very funny, very, very funny, okay? And landlord leaves, right? And say the actual cost of doing it is, I don't know, $200, right, per day. And you're like, landlord leaves and you're sitting there thinking, hey, I have done all my homework, all right? I am pretty strong guy, say, physically. I see this trench, I've done it before, it will take me 2 hours to dig it, maximum 2.5, but probably 2 hours. $100, he offered me $100, which means if I dig it, okay, and that's not too difficult for me, I will get $50 an hour. And that's not bad for a student. I mean, just a couple of hours of physical work. I love physical work. Hey, I'll do it. All right, and you go grab a shovel, and you do it, and you say you do it even in an hour and a half. Like wow. I mean, this is like I just made more than 1.5. I mean, more than $50 an hour, because you did it within an hour and a half. You dug the trench. Okay, deep enough, a good trench. So you come back, you knock on your landlord's door, and you're saying, hey dude, hey landlord, or could be uncle, hey uncle, or anyone else for that matter. I put the shovel back in the storage, but I cleaned it, but I actually dug the trench. Look, it's done from that tree to that tree, it's a good trench. And landlord, unless landlord is completely drunk, okay, that's another story. Landlord look at you, says, hey, I was joking. This was a joke. You were talking about how physically fit you are. I was just joking because our handyman's supposed to do that tomorrow. Too late. You say, too late, dude. You told me, I reasonably understood. It's called unilateral contract. That's why it's called unilateral. You understood. He gave you an offer. That thing was offer. I'll you dig this trench, I'll give you $100. He didn't say it's a joke. He didn't say it's joking. He wasn't completely drunk. If he was completely drunk, that's a different story. And you understood the message correctly, reasonably. He didn't ask you to put wire somewhere, like something which you are not licensed to do. Only licensed electrician can put electrical wire, say, across the building or something. He didn't ask you to do that. He asked you to dig the trench. Anyone can dig the trench, who is physically capable. So you reasonably understood the offer, and you did it. Too late. He is on the hook. If you go to court, just hypothetically speaking, because $100 is not worth going to court, even small claims court, but if you want to, you can. If you go to small claims court and you say, this is what happened, you're gonna get $100, and maybe even more, I don't know, some punitive damages. Okay, short break. That person is on the hook because there was meeting of the minds. His offer was pretty clear. His terms were pretty clear. Okay, dig the trench, I'll give you $100. And for example, if in real life this trench would cost $150, $200, that would be a bargain for him, right? He got the bargain. That's another term from contract law, all right? So it would make sense for him to have this benefit, okay? And you understood it correctly. And you did it, and the contract was reasonable for you to understand it correctly. It was reasonable for you to dig it. And see, you're not a minor. You already say 19 years old, so you can make a contract. If you were a minor, like under 18, you could get out of this contract. But even if you were a minor, under 18, if you took on the contract, if you took on the duty, unilaterally, that's why it's called unilateral contract. That's what I'm talking about. Unilateral contract, meaning you could not do it, or you could do it. It's up to your decision, your unilateral decision. That's why it's unilateral. There was no agreement created when he offered you. Agreement was created when you started digging and when you finished digging. All right? That's when agreement was created, when you finished the job as he requested. Right? You took it on upon yourself unilaterally, and you finished it while he was drinking beer in his room. That's it. Okay? Even if you were a minor, you took it on, he's on the hook on the contract. You could get out of contract as a minor, but he couldn't. So this is what it is. That creates a contract. So And another thing is, for example, in terms of reasonableness, if he was completely drunk, like barely standing on the feet, it may not be reasonable for you to believe he is capable of making a contract because he was intoxicated. So he didn't have mental capacity to understand his actions. So you are trying to take advantage of him, actually. Say, if he would be too drunk and to say, wait, not $100, say, you dig this trench from here to here, and I'll give you $500 or $1,000 if you're such a hero. Okay? And if you do it, you may not get this money. You may get this, the actual value, the average value of this work in the community, which would be, say, $150, for example, right? But you would not get $1,000 because that person was not capable of making, agreement. Or you may even not get anything if that person was really drunk. If you gave him a beers, knowing the person likes to drink, gave him a bunch of beers, if you talked him into making this contract, if you told him that you can do it, and if you lied to him, like say that this costs $1,000 and he wouldn't know because he would be so drunk, then it could be under duress, considered to be a contract under duress, and so on. And you would not get the benefit of the contract. Now, what I'm trying to say, this is just an example. There could be many other examples. Say, I don't know, a fraternity group, right? And, here's one more moment. For example, fraternity group, or him, if they kind of joking, saying that if you want to be a member of fraternity group, you have to dig the trench from here to there, all right? And you will get $100. And after that, you'll be considered as a candidate for fraternity group. If you go and do it, they're on the hook. But especially if he, your uncle, your mother, your father, your friend, your neighbor, the fraternity group, anyone offers you to do it, offers. It's unilateral, and you unilaterally decide to take it on. You start digging, you dig, and they are watching you from the window that you started performing the contract, started digging, and they are laughing at you, but you keep digging. Trust me, they are on the contract. They made a contract with you. You made a unilateral contract with them, basically. They are on the hook because they started you watching doing it, but they seen you doing it, performing the contract. They see you performing the contract, but they did not stop you. They are completely on the hook here. All right? Same thing could happen in many other things. Buy me a grocery. Carry this thing anywhere, like something fixing a car. If you tell mechanic starts fixing a car, you're on the hook. Okay, you're on the hook. So be very careful when you don't make promises. Don't offer people. Don't joke like that, right? Do not joke like that. You cannot joke like that because you may get yourself into a contract. And there are millions of examples of such contracts. Millions, literally. So be very careful when you promise something, okay? Be very careful when you're making a joke. Be very careful when you say things, right? So this is like very basic overview of a unilateral contract, which sometimes people don't understand. They can't get on the hook for their promise, because offer is a promise. Offer to pay money is a promise. Person takes on the job without even you knowing it, right? And finishes the job, brings you results, you're on the hook. You offered. It was reasonable for person to understand it. Terms were clear. Person did the work, finished it, his result, you're on the hook. Have a good one. Take care.